Hello, and welcome to Mr. Hall's Read Alouds. This is Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol, the Scary Library Shusher, and this is part 3 of this book. Let's begin. Chapter 5, Hitting the Books. "I'm telling you," I whispered to Desmond, "there was a woman, and she was staring right at me. It was freaky." "Then where did she go?" Desmond asked. I shrugged. "I don't know." It was pretty strange how she had disappeared so quickly. Where could she have gone so fast? Desmond patted me on the back. "Maybe it was your imagination," he said. "You know how you get." I stared at him for a few seconds with my mouth hanging open. "Wow. You don't believe me?" I asked. "I'm telling you that she was here." Desmond shrugged. "Maybe she wanted the book you were reading." "Captain Awesome?" I asked. "Really?" "You never know," Desmond said, laughing. "Look, forget about it. We have to get to the history section and work on our report." I'd almost forgotten all about that. Desmond went over and returned the monster book to the shelf, but as he walked away, we heard the book fall to the floor. The loud thud echoed around the quiet library. Then Desmond walked back and replaced the book, but it fell again. The second was even louder this time. That's when we heard a craggy woman's voice say, "Shh." It was the longest, creepiest sound I'd ever heard. So creepy that it gave me the shivers. Shh. To make matters even weirder, there was nobody around. I mean, nobody. Desmond and I were totally alone in the kids section. Remember the shivers I talked about? They ran from my toes up to my hair. Desmond picked up the book and put it back on the shelf for the third time. And it fell off for the third time. But Desmond was ready this time. He caught the book before it could hit the ground. "Did you see that catch?" he asked me, holding the book up in the air like he had just made the play of the game in the World Series. Just then, all the other books on the shelf started to shake. My eyes opened wide, my lips moved, but I couldn't speak, especially because what happened next was unbelievable. One by one, the books floated off the shelf all by themselves. Then they started flapping their covers like wings until suddenly the flying books swooped down toward Desmond. My best friend was under attack. "Ah!" Desmond called out, trying to shield himself. Desmond was completely shocked, and so was I, but I couldn't just stand there. I had to rescue him. Without thinking about it, I ran over to him and started batting away the books. I had heard of hitting the books, but this was ridiculous. As we battled, Desmond and I looked at each other, and we knew what we had to do. It was Ghost Patrol time. But first, we needed to warn Mrs. Shush. Chapter 6. Mess? No mess. "Right this way," Desmond said a few minutes later. We brought the librarian, Mrs. Shush, back to the scene of the weirdness. "I'm sorry to show you this, but take a look," Desmond exclaimed, pointing to the mess. The mess wasn't there. The kids section had been totally wrecked, but now it was back to normal. All the books that had been flying around the room were placed neatly back on the shelf in order. "What happened?" Desmond asked. "That's impossible," I said. Mrs. Shush looked down from looked from Desmond to me. Boys, I think you've been reading too many scary stories, she said. I don't even like scary stories, I mumbled, but Mrs. Shush didn't hear me. She was too busy walking away, leaving us alone again. That's when Desmond leaned in and whispered to me, "Don't worry about Mrs. Shush. You and I know what we saw, right?" I nodded. I will never ever look at a book the same way again. "This is serious," Desmond said. "You know what we have to do, right?" I gulped. "We?" I asked nervously. "We have to save the library." The same excitement I saw earlier was back in Desmond's eyes. "Let's start in the ghost story section. The grown-up ghost story section." Desmond grabbed my arm and pulled me up a spiral staircase, which was old and rickety. Every step we took made a creaky squeal. We were near the top when we heard another shh. Again, there was nobody around. Desmond and I ran down the hall. My heart was beating at double speed. When we got to the section with ghost stories, there were plenty of scary books. Luckily, there were no ghosts. I picked up a book called Ghost Stories for Scaredy Cats, which was kind of a silly title. But after a few pages, I slammed the book back onto the shelf. It was way too scary for a scaredy cat like me. That was when I heard someone scream, and it was loud. Desmond ran toward the scream. That's one thing I don't understand. I mean, why would anyone run toward danger? But Desmond was a running into danger kind of kid. I followed him, even though I really didn't want to know where that scream had come from. All we saw was a woman hugging a book, but it wasn't the woman who had been spying on me earlier. Desmond yelled, "The book is attacking her!" He ran over to the woman and tried to wrestle the book away from her. But the woman was not going to let that book go. "What is wrong with you?" she asked Desmond. "I've been waiting to read this book for 3 months. How dare you try to take it away from me?" Desmond stepped away from her and apologized. "Sorry. I thought... sorry?" The woman looked at the book and screamed again. I guess she was really excited about that book. That's when we heard another shh. The woman shot us a look like we thought we had said it. But the shushing noise came from the next room over. As the woman walked away with her prized book, Desmond grabbed my arm. Before I could stop him, he pushed me into the computer lab. This time, we weren't running toward a scream. We were running toward a shush. And that will do it for this reading of Desmond Cole Ghost Control, the Scary Shusher. And until next time, have a great day.